Below Deck Season 10 lost a cast member on its most recent episode when Camille Lamb, who has been one of the most polarizing characters aboard the Saint David, was fired. After a season filled with tears and fights between the deckhand, Stu, and second Stu Alyssa Humber and an overall lack of interest in her job, Captain Sandy Yan finally felt it was time to let Camille go. While it was inevitable for Camille's time on the yacht to come to an end, there was some satisfaction with the conclusion of her story. Camille's severance was not exactly shocking to the crewmates aboard St. David. Even Chief Steward Fraser Allender, who made it clear he would be interested in giving Camille another chance to prove herself, found himself angered by her actions. After catching Camille drinking while other crewmates were still preparing the yacht for the following day's charter, Fraser explained, "There's truly no care or willingness to do the job." While there was some vindication in seeing Camille fired after a season of underperforming on St. David, some fans were underwhelmed with how Alyssa's actions were handled compared to Camille's. Camille's downfall on Below Deck wasn't only her. After Alyssa consistently engaged in arguments and went to fellow crewmates and the captain about every mistake Camille made on the yacht, fans on Reddit were left confused as to why she was not called out as well. Captain Sandy, who had to get between the crewmates earlier in the season, spoke to Alyssa about her behavior but mostly used her time with the Stu to discuss Camille's shortcomings. Sandy should have suggested a change in behavior to Alyssa rather than pushing her to get Camille to work harder. Alyssa should have been called out for her role in Camille's downfall, which many Reddit users said via UT Polish's thread. One fan explained, "Camille is definitely not a good worker and too disrespectful, but I don't think Alyssa is good at communicating either." They continued, "Alyssa is conniving and baits Camille intentionally, and then plays the victim." Below Deck's Alyssa should have took some responsibility while Camille's firing was warranted and expected. The lack of responsibility taken by Alyssa in the situation was somewhat surprising. Though Camille was ultimately fired for valid reasons, including poor work ethic, consistent mistakes, and the inability to apply feedback, it seemed like she was being set up to fail. Whether this was by the crew of St. David or Below Deck production remains to be seen. Regardless of who is at fault, Alyssa played as large a role in Camille's termination, as she spent the majority of the season unfairly threatening Camille's job without the jurisdiction to fire her. Now with Alyssa still left on the yacht, the Below Deck Season 10 crew is short-handed, and there is potential that someone else may be joining the crew as Camille's replacement. While waiting to see what's next for Below Deck Season 10, there have been several opinions on the drama and what was fair and what wasn't. As for what's next for Camille, hopefully, her termination from St. David opens the door to her next big adventure. Below Deck airs Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bravo. Source: UT Nail Polish Reddit.
With a gentle touch, you tell me what all love I have to share. It must be 'cause you are what I all knew. Only you do know, you do know, you do know. Only you do know the Paris. Still moving, still sad for blue.